What's up guys, and welcome to my first YouTube video. I thought it would be pretty appropriate as a first YouTube video to hit the park. It's basically an introduction to calisthenics because this is a question that I get a lot: how to start calisthenics. The truth is, it's pretty simple. If you've ever done anything involving using your body, walking upstairs, dancing, rock climbing, climbing a tree even, that would be considered calisthenics. So what we're going to do today is what you would call a street workout. And when I say it's for advanced, intermediate, and beginner, I mean that because you can basically just change the structure of the training session and get different levels out. So lower reps if you're a beginner, higher reps if you're an intermediate, less reps if you're advanced, etc, etc, etc. But yeah, here we go. Why do I keep my elbow next to my body? Important when you're doing external and internal rotations with the rubber band, keep your elbow close to your body. Mainly why is because the body is naturally going to cheat whenever it can. So if I start to just do this, instead of actually warming up my rotator cuff, what I'm doing is I'm warming up my shoulder, I'm then starting to do, I'm going into my back here. So what you're going to try and do is keep this close and focus that the rotation happens here. It is not a big rotation. That's the misconception people have, that you're going to do this and then suddenly your arm's going to go 180 degree around. No, it's just a small motion where you can warm up, but you're only going to really get it when you're keeping that elbow close to your lats. Same thing applies in everything when it comes to form. Keep those elbows really, really tight if you want to effectively work things. So another quick tidbit, if you're someone who is a little bit more advanced in calisthenics and you're bored of doing all these internal and external rotations, a good alternative or a good extra you can add is, once you perform the internal rotation, then again, keeping your elbow close to your body, start pushing up. What this does is it starts to strengthen all the stabilization muscles in your shoulder, your chest, and your lats, which will make keeping a tight handstand much easier. You'll notice that you're not going to be so jiggly up there. You'll be nice and tight.
I have that problem actually.
Yeah?
When I do a handstand push-up.
It's usually, okay, specifically that last thing that I just said applies to the handstand push-up. It's when you're pushing, you want to maintain the ability to keep your elbows nice and tight so they don't flare out, because the second that your elbows start flaring out in a handstand push-up, all the focus is going to go into a smaller muscle group. What happens there? Less stabilization. So you end up work, and most of the time people fall forward.
Vamos a poner la mano en la espalda y yo te lo tiro todo.
To handstand push-ups and handstands, believe it or not, is a scapular. If you don't have the balance and stability there, this will happen, 100%. If you haven't seen this in the park, or if you haven't felt this, or seen someone do this, you need to be in the park more. So what will happen if you don't have good stability of your scapula is when you start pushing, all of a sudden, That's because you've got no stability in your scapula and you're unable to flex your lats and maintain that one line of motion. So, shrugs, very important if you want to learn how to do handstand push-ups. Okay, so what you just saw over there was handstand play, I guess you could call it. It's a little bit more advanced. I'm not asking or expecting anyone to learn who is learning the handstand to do something like this. This is something that you'd see more typically, or that I would recommend for people that have been doing it for a while. Like, the reason why I do it is just simply to A, give my mind a little bit of a wake up when it comes to where my center of gravity is, because that is very important when it comes to any kind of hand balancing or anything like that. You want to have a good general awareness of where that center of gravity is. So my way of doing it, and I found over the years it kind of works for me, is by holding the handstand and then shifting my weight around. Because as long as I've got a really strong grip on the bars, I'm going to use my core, I'm going to start warming up, and eventually over time you realize that you actually, can manipulate that and figure out how to do a one-handed handstand. This is all DIY, very unprofessional, very street workout, but this is how I managed to get things done. We do things at home over here. We figured it out ourselves. On to one of my favorites, the handstand push-up. So, generally speaking with the handstand push-up, one thing I find a lot of people don't really understand is how you're actually pushing. And this affects everything massively. So, when it comes to the handstand push-up, it looks like people are just doing this, right? You're pushing up, down, up, down, up, down. The reality is that you're actually pushing almost like an incline bench. It's at a bit of an angle. So when you see people doing a handstand push-up, you'll notice that their body is like that and their hands are going to be here. And they go down like at a bit of an angle. Why? Because, well, naturally speaking, this is not really a good range of motion. And on the P-bars, you can't really do that, as you're about to see when I do handstand push-ups. So typically speaking, what you're going to try and do is angle yourself a bit forward. This all goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. You want to keep your elbows in. Once you reach about a 90-degree angle, keeping your legs tight. Sometimes I do this to keep it tight. Back up. So if you notice the motion was actually from here to here, and then back up on top of my head again. If you really, really want to feel what that feels like, head to your local gym, grab an Olympic bar, put it on your chest like you're about to do a shoulder press, and then as you're standing, just separate that bar from you. Little by little by little. You'll notice that you're just going to start leaning back. The only difference between that and a handstand push-up is in a handstand push-up, your legs are in the air so they can go forward. But if you're doing it with a military bar, obviously you're anchored to the floor. You're going to need to lean backwards to do that counterweight. But my legs should be here. if that gives you an idea of what a handstand push-up should feel like when you're doing it, because a lot of people are going to start pushing directly here, fall forward. It's really that simple. You want to think about a triangle. Now that that's explained, I'm going to wrap out. Another thing you'll notice that when you're doing a handstand push-up with that kind of technique is you're going to be working your chest a lot better, which will go back to what I was saying in the very beginning, involving your warm-up and intention. Everything you do when it comes to workout, at least street workout, should be done with intention. We're using our body weight at this point. Like, we haven't got that extra plate to add to make it a bit easier, to make the muscle more tired. No, after a while, you really need to focus on the muscle that you're using in order to improve, make those little tiny increments, because your weight is fixed. So one of the reasons why I insist that it's important to keep your elbows in and then look for that kind of like angled push, you're going to be activating your chest a lot more. It's not just basing on that little tiny muscle in your shoulder. You're going to be using your chest more, you're going to be using your shoulders more, your triceps more. And that all translates over to like advanced skill work in calisthenics. So say, for example, the planche. You're not going to really be able to achieve a strong planche if you're not working the right muscles. In this case, a handstand push-up, your upper chest, shoulders, triceps, lats, everything's involved in this. It's a compound movement. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm really bad with this. A lot of my training goes based on emotion. I'm a very emotional guy. But no, what I mean by that is if I'm feeling something, if I feel the reps, if I feel the strength coming, then I'm not going to fight it at all. I'm going to go and get what I need to get done. Yeah, I feel like doing some planches and some sets right now, so here we go. This is my type of training session. I'm not going to hide anything from you guys. Usually speaking, with YouTube videos, people are going to have a nice structured YouTube video where they're going to show you how things are done and explain things properly. The thing is that I don't do that. When I feel like doing a set, when I feel like listening to a good song, because I'm hyped as shit, then I just do it. I don't care. If it's in the middle of a training session, if I have something structured, I just go based on what I feel emotionally, because guys, I'm emotional and stuff. But no, right now I feel like a fucking set, so I'm gonna do a set. I'm not feeling my strongest right now, but like I said, I'm someone who goes based on emotion when it comes to these training sessions, so if I got to get it out of my system, I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed my first YouTube video here at the park. There will be plenty more to come, although I can't promise they're going to be of the same quality they're being filmed right now, because I have a genius behind the camera, Rafa. Shout out to Rafa. Go follow him. I will link his YouTube and his Instagram in the description below because he is an absolute G. Very, very talented at what he does. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, notification bell for when they come out, because I don't know yet when these videos will be scheduled. So it's a good idea to hit that notification bell just so you're on top of things, and more to come soon. Peace out, Saiyans.